let's look at this this little clip here from the World Government Summit. Right? Isn't that funny how it says World Government Summit? World Government Summit panel discusses the shock needed for the world order transformation. New world order. Now let's just listen because I don't need to say it. Just let him say it.
How is this transition going to happen? I mean, I totally agree that the world order, the way it is built today, doesn't make any sense. That is not in line with the economic powers like India, Brazil, or Germany. You know that they don't have a massive role in the international order. But to me, the big question is: so how we are going to go through this transformation? It has to be. It cannot be gradual. It has to be driven by a certain shock that will happen. So now we will reconsider this entire...
No, so if your question is that this period could be turbulent, could have violence,
Yes.
could have conflicts, we are already living it.
Yeah.
I think the last 5 or 6 years tell us that we are going through a rather turbulent phase. We have lost a large part of humankind to the pandemic because we were all selfish. We were not willing to share. We were not willing to use the global institutions to deliver responses to different parts of the world. We have lost people. Now, how much more bloodshed do we need to understand that the transition is upon us?
Now, first off, this dude, clearly India, right? Clearly India. I believe India was straight up like, nah to the vaccine. Like, they were like, we already had Bill Gates here and he fucked us all. So we aren't dealing with that shit again. I believe they did try something, but I believe there was India who was like, nah, we aren't doing that show. What the fuck are you talking about? But this guy who's like, oh, there needs to be a shock. It needs to happen immediately. It can't be gradual. It's got to be immediately. It has to immediately be changed. Well, yeah, they're trying. And the shock that they're going to be is extreme. What is it going to be? It's going to be Bluebeam. What is Bluebeam, right? So imagine, I'm going to turn this volume down because it's going to be loud. Imagine seeing this in the air doing whatever the fuck, right? It could be doing exactly what it's doing right now. You see this in the sky and it's just there. And you're like, oh, wow, that's huge, right? But imagine it doesn't look like it looks now, but instead it looks a lot more realistic. And it actually looks like some kind of heavenly deity, like an actual angel, or even, I don't know, like a god, right? Or it could even be freaking Satan. I don't know. It could be whatever deity that goes along with your geographical region. And then that deity tells you, hey, you should do A, B, and C things because I, the God that you worship generally in this area, am telling you this, right? How many people would believe this? Well, I mean, some people are definitely going to because that's just how it is. Some people aren't. So how would they convince you even more? Well, they will have some kind of thing that they would somehow put into your body. I mean, I don't know how they would get it into your body, but they would have something that they would get into your body. This thing would have the ability to project sound into your mind without you really wanting it. And then you will hear voices literally in your head. And these voices would come from this figure in the sky, the god or whatever it is. And then that would definitely get a lot of people on board who, once again, don't understand what is going on. Now, if you think I'm crazy because I'm saying these things, oh my gosh, you're scaring me, James. Well, listen to this dude, right? Listen to what this guy has to say. Not this guy. Not this guy. He's just an image. But the dude speaking. Listen to him speak.
1986, while stationed at an underground installation near Boulder, Colorado, I was introduced to Project Skybeam by Lieutenant General Andrew Garris. I was then led down a corridor and into a large hangar where a stealth bomber hovered only 20 feet above me. I stood there confused. Then Garrus looked over at me and smiled, then asked if I was certain of what I was seeing. I replied, of course. What else could it be? I was then shocked to find out that this wasn't a real craft. It was a projected hologram. Since the early 1950s, scientists had been developing holographic technology, and over the years improved it to a state that we can only imagine. As I stood there staring at the bomber, which looked so absolutely real and solid that I could reach up and touch it, I contemplated the possibilities. What if this projection was 1,000 feet up in the sky? How would anyone know that that was an illusion? The Phoenix Lights craft, witnessed by 10,000 people, was the first grand-scale skybeam test upon the public. It succeeded beyond expectations. In October 1938, Orson Welles unleashed his War of the Worlds radio broadcast to the American public. It was so realistically portrayed, vast portions of the population went into panic. Terrified citizens scrambled to evacuate their cities in droves. America had been easily tricked by very simple means. To amplify this response, those who are truly in power of not only our country, but all the countries on the planet, and who are the true purveyors of the depopulation process, have formulated the final stage of their sinister plan. In the year 2024, a global event will alter the course of mankind's future. The world will stand witness to a massive alien invasion. Thousands of projected holographic alien warships will blanket the skies, sending people into a global panic. Real military crafts within the holograms will inflict actual damage to the surrounding areas to sell the gimmick. And as a result of the ensuing human chaos, a one-world government will immediately form without any resistance from the people. They will be the new world order. Once this happens, we as a people will be doomed.
Whew, that's a lot to take in there, isn't it? If you already didn't know about this. But yes, next year is 2024. And according to this person who has some insider information, that is when Project Bluebeam will be put out, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Now, as he said, this will be used for the alien invasion, right? The alien invasion portion, right? The alien invasion will be poised via the Bluebeam projections into the sky with hundreds, thousands of spaceships. Within the guise of these spaceships, there will be actual planes, military planes, that will then attack the surrounding areas. Therefore, making people believe, hey, we're actually being attacked. But once again, as many times as I say this, it will still be faked. You will be attacked by your own government, right? They will be the ones doing the attacking, not aliens from another planet. They will be the ones doing it. Now, I honestly couldn't tell you a solution. I don't even know how you would stop this. You would have to somehow be able to figure out where the projection is coming from and destroy that. But quite literally, I don't even know how this thing is being projected. Is it on a plane and the plane will be projecting it? Is it going to be something that's going to be on land that will be projecting it in the sky? Or will the planes flying around doing the shooting have the projection system on it? Now, one thing that I have to also add on to this, right? If they're projecting all of these things into the sky, they would need something, right, to project it onto, I believe, right? According to him, this projection was just happening and was just sitting there above him like that, right? But I'd imagine that the projection was, more controlled, right? It was in a hangar. Now, if it's thousands of feet in the air and it's moving, There's got to be something that you have to do to make it a bit more convincing. So if they were to do this, let's say, with a bunch of clouds, maybe a bunch of smoke in the sky, i.e. via all of these fires that are occurring, very possible that all these fires are going to help create a screen, a smoke screen, if you will, that will help facilitate the idea and the concept of, oh man, this is, this is an alien invasion. You can't really see it, but it's clearly attacking us. People aren't going to be able to picture it out because it's just going to be behind the guise of the smoke screen, but it's going to be a projection, right? Then the planes will be attacking. Once again, I couldn't tell you. The only thing that I can possibly think though is just to not believe it, right? But once again, not believing it isn't going to really help due to the fact that clearly our governments aren't doing anything according to what we want, right? They don't. They just are like, oh yeah, it's a democracy. But then they do a whole bunch of shit that nobody wanted them to do in the first place. Like nobody wants a 15-minute city. Nobody wants lockdowns. Okay, there's retarded people who actually want lockdowns because they think it's going to somehow save you. But no actual real human being wants that, right? Nobody wants that. But the governments are going to do it. They're going to do it whatever. Whatever they want, they're going to do it, and they're going to force it on you. Now, the other thing about 2024 is, at least in this country, there's an election going on. November, right? It's at the end of the year. So when will Bluebeam happen? Will it happen at the beginning of 2024? Kind of similar to how the, pandemic happened? Or will it happen at the end of 2024, near the election? Like you'll get primed for the aliens. Well, we're already being primed for it, which is UFO sightings. We don't know, the balloons, being primed for it right now. And then near the end of the year, they'll be like, oh, unidentified flying object has just attacked California. And I'm pretty sure people will be like, yes. No, I'm just kidding. But unidentified flying object has just fired missiles onto the California building. Oh man, we don't know what this is. We have to go and shoot it down. Then it's just going to be even more. And then it's going to gradually happen over the few months. And then 2024 hits, and then somewhere in February, right, it'll be like, bam, full-fledged invasion. Or it'll happen during somewhere around the election. It could be either one, right? The reason I'm thinking it's going to happen near the election is because they're going to say, hey, we're being attacked. We've got to have some kind of emergency act. No election. The election is going to be on pause until we figure out what the fuck's going on. Or it'll happen at the beginning of the year. But if it happens then, either everything will be destroyed by the time the election comes around, that nobody's going to be thinking about an election, or they'll just do the same thing and be like, oh, this is going on. I know there's supposed to be an election going on, but we've got to put it on pause because we're under attack. We don't have time to do all that. Either way, they're going to try to stop the election from occurring. One. Two, you just have to not believe this. You can't fall for it, right? Now, along with the other thing I said beforehand with Project Bluebeam and the whole angelic deities, however you want to say it. Well, I don't know which. Well, I do believe the alien invasion is going to come first, and then second is going to be the angelic deities, and then the deity is going to tell you, hey, you have to follow whatever I'm telling you. Whatever it is that they're going to say, you got to follow it because I am your God. People are going to fall for it because people are just going to fall for it regardless. Some people aren't. Just make sure you're not one of the people who fall for it. And prepare yourself because that shit is coming. This will be the fun one, but it's probably also going to be the fucking hardest because they're literally going to fucking attack us.
Thank you once again for watching, but please go subscribe on Rumble, Odyssey, and Utreon to see more content that we cannot put on YouTube. Also, check out our GameSanity channel where we play live streams of different games, and the Oreyo Show where we have a podcast about current events and interesting topics going on in the world today. Once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.